All right, let's get the audio set up. All right, I think we're ready. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Soft Tissue Practice Revolution, the podcast. My name is Dr. Matt Maggio, and my mission is to help practitioners that specialize in soft tissue treatment how to significantly increase their skill set in business, scale their practice, make more money, all while being ethical and not ripping off patients. So we're on episode 5. You can see behind me on the video, episode 5, and the title of this episode is, Who Do We Blame for the Opioid Epidemic? Let's just get right down to it. We are in the worst epidemic that I can ever be a part of and imagine, and it's continuing to get worse and worse. It's just, honestly, fucking disgusting what it's become. And they keep talking about it on TV, on the news, and everything like that, of like, who's to blame and what do we do and all this shit. And, I shared it in episode 2 about my dad's death, and, made me cry. It makes me cry almost every day thinking about his battle with pain pills and never-ending surgeries and injections and all that shit. And I talked about his last day and everything like that. And I think I have a different perspective on the opioid epidemic because, one, I'm a doctor, I'm in the system and I'm in the field, and plus it took someone very valuable for me in my life, and it's ruined my family. And friends have died of overdoses of heroin and pain pills and all that, and it's just getting worse and worse. And we do the normal thing. We blame the usual suspects. Big Pharma. Yeah, fuck, they're the ones making it. That's not a surprise. They're making it, they're manufacturing it, getting people hooked on it. They're bad enough, but everyone understands that they're bad. There's some other culprits involved in the opioids epidemic that people just aren't addressing enough blame to. So let's just go through the list. One for me, honestly, is insurance companies. And people might be like, well, what are you talking about? Some of these insurance companies are actually limiting pain pill scripts and doing all this shit to make sure that it doesn't get as bad. And they're doing their part. They're not. It's just fucking smoke and mirrors for that. What they've done is they've handcuffed the doctors by limiting what they can treat, limiting what they can diagnose, and paying a lot of conservative care people shitty money, burying them in paperwork so they can't do what they need to do, which is to be a doctor. Now, they're just as much to blame. They make it really hard. They make the patients jump through hoops to get care that they need. They make it harder for the doctors. They make it harder for everyone involved. But you know what? They got no problem making huge profits and cashing people's premium checks. So, yeah, they're contributing. They're just not doing it directly. They're not the ones giving you the pills, but they're denying care that people need so that eventually they end up with the care. Or they pay for the big bad shit that people really last ditch need, like surgeries and stuff like that, but they don't pay a fucking dime for conservative care treatment and non-surgical, non-drug type of things. They don't value that care, which just blows my mind. We don't spend any money on preventative care in the U.S., and it sucks. All right, who else is on my list? This one might surprise some people a little bit, but it's patients themselves. And here's why. We live in a very instant gratification society. It's like we want it now, 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 now. I push a button and Amazon has that shit on my porch in like 2 hours and it goes from there. And it's the same thing when we're injured or we're in pain. People don't understand that their symptoms and their problem took years and years to develop, but they want it to go away right away. And they fall for all that bullshit, all those quick fixes. They fall for stem cells. They fall for injections. They fall for this treat yourself kind of stuff with lacrosse balls and foam rollers and all this stuff. And they want the quick fix. And then what happens is they kind of become assholes because they read somebody's blog who's a self-appointed guru on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram and told them, hey, it's this one thing, or they read a book, and all of a sudden they're a fucking expert, and they're coming in telling the doctor how to do their job, which blows my mind. But people do this all the time in injury care. Our doctors, they question their doctors, and you know what? I don't blame them a lot because doctors really aren't as good as they used to be. But when you got someone like, say you got Joe, who's an accountant, comes in and all of a sudden he's a fucking expert on his injury or his shoulder problem because he read a couple books and blogs on that. Imagine if I did that shit back to Joe and I was like, hey, I read a couple of these books and blogs on accounting and I know way better than you. That shit wouldn't fly, but it flies every day in the doctor's office. Patients are short-sighted, they're impatient, and they're greedy because they think that quick fix is there or they think a cheap solution is there. They don't want to spend money on quality, but they spend money on all other types of bullshit. And the problem with a cheap solution is actually the solution itself. It doesn't work. So now we've assigned blame to Big Pharma, insurance companies, and patients. Who's left? And this is the ones that I think might be the worst. It's doctors. Yeah. People are like, well, what do you mean? It's because they're lazy. They are okay with mediocrity. They're okay with insurance companies telling them what to do. They're scared. They're in debt up to their fucking ears with student loans. They got insurance companies paying them shit for what they do. And they got patients coming in telling them how to do their job. And they can't do the things that they need to do, which is actually focus, listen, and deliver quality care to the patients because they're worried about a waiting room full of people because they got to see twice the amount of people just to cover the bills because the insurance company keeps cutting them back. They got extra staff to do all that. They got patients that want quick results. They're trying to appease the pharmaceutical companies. They're trying to do all that, and they can't do the thing that they need to do best, which is to be a doctor. And you know what? A lot of them know they're doing a shitty job, but they won't come to terms with that, and they just keep doing the same thing. As we talk about, the definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the same results. I see this all the time where I have like regular chiros who just do manipulations, and they reach out to me and they see our stuff, and they're like, oh, that soft tissue shit that you're doing, man, that looks really awesome. And they come in and you fix them, and they're like, great. And they're like, hey, man, why don't you learn how to do this? Like, I'll teach you or I'll show you. Like, go to these seminars and do that. They're like, I don't know. That seems like a lot of work. And I just, I'm pretty content right now being where we are. It's like, seriously? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, why did you get into the profession in the first place to help people? If you know that your shit is not helping people, then make a change or get the fuck out. Quit wasting people's time. It might sound harsh the way I talk to people, but no one else there is talking to people like this. Like, be better. Demand more of yourself. Show up better for your patients, your community, and your family. And these are the same doctors that are bitching and are like, my patients suck. I'm not making any money. Insurance is doing this to me. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm not getting where I need to go. And they play the victim role. And you can continue to play the victim role, or you can get your head out of your ass and understand that you need to be better and show up better and provide better care. So imagine if we could have a grassroots effort of amazing doctors that specialize in soft tissue treatment, and they know how to diagnose like a fucking champ. They deliver quality care. They run a business clean and mean, and it's profitable, so they can invest back into their care, back into their training, and back into their community. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm creating. Because as it says behind me, my hashtag is End Pain Pills Movement. And the only way we're going to do that is if we start getting better as doctors and get our head out of our ass and understand that we're going against bigger people to blame, as I talked about in episode 4, the orthopedic model, the surgeon model, the Big Pharma model, and everything like that. We need to be better. And I just realized I said in episode 4, but I already talked about it in this episode. Episode 4 was I talked about my own injury. So I'm still learning and go from there. So once again, I'm going to hit you where you need to get hit. I'm going to hit you in the knee. I'm going to hit you in the nuts. And I'm going to give you some reality check because someone has to talk to you real and let you know that you need to be better. You need to demand better of yourself, demand better of your patients, and demand better of your skill set so you can show up better. So if you like what you see, you want to be part of our movement, the Soft Tissue Revolution, here's what you need to do. Click the link in the bio. It'll bring you over to our Facebook page. We go through a criteria. You got to answer a couple questions. Prove that you have an active license. So if you're a massage therapist, chiropractor, physical therapist, and you specialize in some type of soft tissue treatment, come into our world. Come over to the dark side and learn where it is. If you don't like what I say and you think I'm an asshole, leave me a comment and I'll tell you one right back because I'm not playing nice anymore. Things need to change. We need to put an end to this epidemic, and this is how we're going to start. So thanks for watching. This is episode 5, and share it with anyone that you like. And as I said, send me a message. I'm here to help. Thanks. Where's that button?